What's up, guys? This is Thursday, second period, and we're going over our last thing for the quarter, which is the CQA, the Common Quarterly Assessment, which could be anything. In some classes you'll have a test at the end or a paper or whatever, and this one is sort of a wrap-up. You might call it a reflection on the project so far, plus the steps ahead. So let me look at that and quickly just kind of answer all the questions anybody might have. What I'd like is for this video to be pretty comprehensive, and if anybody asks me, hey, what are we doing, I can just say, watch the video. So last time, quick recap, I posted this assignment talking about the Code HS. We have this unit called the Design User Experience, and I assigned the first section, the second section. Those have their own little posts on here and their own little slots in the gradebook. And then I said, you know what, after looking through it again and after seeing the pace that we're setting, it's good stuff in the middle of that unit, but it would have caused us a lot of stress. There would be a lot of people who, ask me on like the day before the end of the quarter, hey, do I have to do it all? Is it too much? And there would be people who like submitted it at 3 a.m. on Friday. It'd be no fun. So that stuff is great, and I will give you extra points if you do it. Let's say 5 per, so that you can get 20 because there are 4 little sections in the middle. But we're still going to do that quiz at the end, and we still can because you get the ideas from the beginning, and I'm going to give you a little recap now. Okay, so in this Code HS unit about the design user experience, they give you a couple steps. The first step is looking at your users, figuring out what they need and what they can do, and it tells you to limit your expectations. Have what they say, a beginner mindset, meaning that you're not trying to figure out what you want and what you think would be cool, but to imagine what somebody would see if you just handed them your app or you handed them your website. Would they be able to figure it out? Would they be able to use their knowledge and their skills to get something out of it? Okay, so in this case, a beginner's mindset is a good thing. It doesn't mean that you're making mistakes. It means that you're properly imagining the other perspective. This happened a lot in your chatbot projects with you guys, where you would write lots of code and have a lot of question and answers that the chatbot could do, but the user wouldn't know it, because if the chatbot just says hello and they say hello, and then you have all this cool stuff behind the scenes, they don't know about it. So you have to get in the mindset of what would somebody know if they weren't me, if they weren't expecting the same stuff that I made, because they don't know that. So that's part of it. The second part is, when you see what problem they have, when you see what kind of demand you're trying to fulfill with the user, then you brainstorm. You come up with as many ideas, and they call it ideate because you're coming up with ideas. And at that step, you want to do as much as you can. Don't criticize them, don't judge them, don't limit them, just put it all out there. And then in a later step, you can pick the good ones and really try to make them progress into something real. When you do that, then you go through a little loop. So you make a prototype version, test it with the user, and then loop back around. Change it a little bit, test it again, loop. So you're not doing these steps once. It's really like one of those flow charts. We've done some flow charts, and some of them will have a part in the middle where you do something until it's good. Like there was one example we saw that was pouring dog food into a bowl, and it's like, pour a little bit, is it done? No. Pour a little bit more, is it done? No. And so you do it until it's full. Okay, or maybe there was one with pouring milk into a glass or something like that. Then the idea is, after seeing your user, coming up with ideas, testing it with them a few times, then by the end you should have something that they can actually use. And by the way, that's our plan for next quarter, is you're going to have a little bit more specific targeting on the user, and you're going to try to make something that a real person can use, test it with them a few times, and so that's going to be part of it. That brings us to our CQA. So you've made a chatbot starting with a template. Some of you did like a pretty simple one and it's fine and it works, and some people went really way out of their way and made a really nice thing with images and several layers of conversation, and that's cool. Either way, it's fine. I'm going to look back at the grades for those because some people did it early, some people did it late, some people did it twice and refreshed them after I made suggestions. Totally fine. By the way, the grade for that first chatbot seems big because when it's the only assessment, it takes up that whole category. But when we have more, like we have the assessment for the Code HS quiz and the assessment for this, it won't be so crucial. So that's okay. Like, for example, a lot of people got 20 out of 25, and it seems like they missed a lot of points, but really, that's like 1% of your total grade, so it's not a big deal. Anyway, this CQA is going to say, hey, you did some, and next quarter we're going to do more. We're going to get into a group, and you're going to make a real nice chatbot with good design, good question and answer, a little bit of user market research type of stuff, and you might start a new one, or you might take one of the ones that you made in quarter 3 and beef it up to something huge. Either way is fine. These questions are what we're working on. For your chatbot, what parts did you think were successful? Do you feel like you covered the topic or just got started? The point of this is not grading yourself. If you say no, if you say, you know what, I kind of changed my mind halfway and I didn't cover it well, that's fine. You're not losing points for that. You're getting points for properly analyzing the situation. So this is not a right or wrong answer type of thing. This is a reflection type of thing. So second one, when we do a group chatbot, what role do you think you might play? Do you want to be the person who designs the look of it with, maybe you know a little bit about CSS, maybe you want to get into CSS, and maybe you have an eye for what looks good, or maybe you want to do the Rive script. Maybe you really liked doing the question and answer thing, and maybe you got into using the wildcards and using the topics and some of the code that gives it a little more depth. 3, have you seen any chatbots just in your normal browsing? I got a couple that I wanted to point out. There's one on Code HS. If you're watching, you can't see because my little webcam is on the bottom right, so let me change that and move it over to the other side. But there's one chatbot on Code HS that's like, hey, can I help you? Mostly it's just asking, it has different stuff every day. This one is, oh, register for this whatever thing. I'm not going to do that. Sorry, Code HS. And then it goes into the real one, which is like, hey, do you want to ask a question? It has an FAQ. It has chat with a real person, but you have to wait. And there's a lot of stuff. So that's more of like, some websites would just have a sidebar with their recent posts and that kind of thing. Here's one that I saw when I went to this vaccine site. They have one in the bottom, and it has a name. It says Ask Barb the Bot. And instead of having a pop-up, it takes you to an actual like contact page. But it is a bot, so let's see what we can do. Hey, so this is not a live person. It says you can call this number, speak to a live person, etc. Maybe there's a way to get it to have someone log on and talk to you, but that's another one. And another one I saw was the National Honor Society. I was logging into there to, pretty soon we're going to order certificates and stuff for the National Honor Society. And they have a little chat thing in the bottom corner that says, are you a teacher or student? Would you like to chat with a person? Sometimes it's little multiple choice bubbles of yes or no. Sometimes it's like, tell us what you want, and based on certain keywords, if you say order, or if you say scholarship, or if you say whatever, then it'll detect that and give you some info. So maybe you've seen something like that, or maybe you can look around, but you'll definitely find one. It's not a rare thing. If you go to any type of retail ordering, they'll have a chatbot. If you go to any type of medical company, they'll have a chatbot. So, see what you like. Do you like the ones that have multiple choice bubbles, or the ones where you type? Do you like the ones that have an option for a real person, or just make it actually work with the AI? It depends. Next, on this Code HS, is there anything you learned? Was it just kind of listing the obvious situation, or did they show some stuff that you actually learned? It's okay. Again, this is not a question of right or wrong answer. It's okay if you say something negative and you're like, yeah, you know what, I've seen it before, I already had an idea. Or it's okay if you say, yes, there's one specific thing where they had the video of the app for the blind people, that was interesting, whatever. As long as you explain, give a little detail. So this is not meant to be super quick worksheet. This is meant to be more of a longer, I don't want to say essay, but it's leaning in that direction, And then 5, the last one. For next quarter, do you have an idea? We're going to focus more on the user, and instead of making something for other people in the room who have the same age and the same device and the same knowledge, what if you made it for older people or sick people or kids or whatever? And then you have to think about, well, okay, they're doing it on a phone, so I don't want to make them type a lot, or these guys might have bad eyesight, so I don't want to do lots of tiny text, or whatever your user situation is. You want to direct your resources toward managing that situation. So anyway, I thought about doing this as a Google form where you'd fill them in and submit, but then I thought I don't want it to be that quick. It's not something you open once, type, and you're done. This is something maybe you do one question today and then open it tomorrow and do another bit. So take your time. This is due 8 days from now, and that's fine. If you turn it in before, then I can look and I might send them back and say, hey, here's why don't you add this, or why don't you explain this for a quick improvement. But if you turn it in at the end, that's fine too. And this is the last thing. I might post like one little bonus on the last day, but this is basically the last real grade. And between now and then, we can check your chatbots again, check the Code HS, go through this, answer questions, all of that stuff. So I hope this will work out. I hope we'll come into next quarter with some nice ideas. Next quarter, we're doing this group project, but it's not the only thing. Okay, so there will be some stuff at the beginning where we say, okay, get a group, pick a chatbot, beef it up, and then we'll come back to it a few times to make some specific improvements. But that's not the only thing we're doing next quarter. We're going to have trying to get some variety. So that's the plan. I'll end this video before it becomes too long. I think I say that every time, even when it is too long. But let me know if you have questions, and let me know. I'm going to look at the chat, because we usually don't get questions in the chat on these videos, but you can anytime you want. Look at that. My viewers are going down, so they're giving up on me. I'm going to end it now. Thanks.